scored 16 to lead all Mavericks in scoring. You expect Jerry Stackhouse to perform well off the bench, but what you do not expect are 10 points from Sean Bradley and a season high in that first half. And that all leads us to the Nike first half stats, Steve Jones.
And everything is even with the exception of that performance from Stackhouse and Sean Bradley. 25 points for them, and the Houston Rockets only have 8, and they are sticking and staying with McGrady and a sore toe.
And before we head to the third quarter, let's regard the leading scorers tonight. The Mavericks with 4 players in double figures at the half. Yao, Sura, and Juwan Howard all in double figures for the Rockets, and McGrady with the bad toe has scored just 7. So before we go to the second half, let's check in with Mark Jones.
Yeah, guys, I spoke to Tracy McGrady just a few moments ago. He says that his big toe on his left foot was fine prior to the game. He doesn't know when he hurt it in this game, but he says he'll be able to go for the rest of this contest. As for Sean Bradley, I asked Jeff Van Gundy, was he part of the scouting report? He said, yeah, but usually we talk about him in defensive terms. He is part of the offensive scouting report now, guys. Back to you.
That's right. And McGrady with that toe problem, and so many NBA players have had leg, feet, ankle problems. It always reminds me of my good friend Johnny Kerr, who has said that he wants it written on his tombstone, I told you my feet were killing me. But it's true. I mean, the human foot was not built to do what they have to do out there.
But when your feet start to hurt, then that's when you start to compensate for everything else, and that's when you come up with associated injuries as well. So, you know, it's always good to try to keep your feet in very good health if you possibly can. But we, my friend, have a 4-point game, so saddle up and get ready to work.
Yes, sir. Sura against Terry. The Rockets have a great chance to make it 2 out of 3 on this road trip. The Mavericks are trying to sweep a homestand, and the road awaits, and a tough one it is at San Antonio next. McGrady very light with that one, and he was shooting it against the shot clock. You know, part of the reason why Tracy McGrady's field goal percentage this year is just a little over 42% is because he has to take those difficult shots.
Well, he takes those difficult shots, and I think sometimes, you know, he doesn't really want to use the energy to get to the rim, get to the free throw line. He is averaging 25 points a game, and he's not getting a lot of free throw lines. McGrady can get by most that defend him, and he's got to take advantage of that and then work in his perimeter game. And when he has his big nights, as he came off a 45-point effort, you look in their column and you'll see good field goal percentage, a lot of free throws.
Dampier on the line for the first time tonight. It was Dampier who got into early foul trouble to start the game. Eric Dampier, 59% from the line.
You have been around long enough, and you've seen a lot of coaches say, let that guy score. Let's see if Dampier can get into this game, and let's keep the other guys out of the game. So maybe that's the new philosophy for the second half.
Interesting you say that, because Nelly probably is as good a coach as there's ever been at that very thing. At knowing who is not the good shooter on the other team and all of a sudden leaving that guy open all the time. Wesley. And knowing that, he would have thought, based on Wesley's shooting percentage this year, that he would fit that role, but he's been pretty good tonight.
But tonight he's knocking them down, and they need Wesley. He's 2 for 6. They've been 3-pointers. He gets his first 2-point field goal, but they're sticking. You know, they're out shooting the Dallas Mavericks from the field.
Dampier unable to convert against Yao. And now a hoop for the Rockets would make it a 2-point game. They've trailed by as many as 9 tonight.
Juwan Howard had a sensational start, and they need to reignite him.
There's one of those missed perimeter shots by Yao that you talked about early. And here's Howard, still doing all right.
He was 5 of 6 and never came back.
He's got 13 points in the game.
You know, when you're 5 or 6, you know what you do? You go up and sit closer to the coach. You don't go further away, so you can always not do. You want me now? You want me now?
I'm ready, coach. I'm ready anytime.
You get away from the coach when you've messed up.
Terry with a nice move. Jason Terry has his first field goal of the second half, and 14 points.
Now you know Van Gundy's going to be yelling, so David Wesley comes over near us. I don't want to hear that.
Bobby Sura guarded by Terry. And it's Wesley again. Dampier clears for the Mavericks.
Terry
Carried the ball. Jason Terry called for palming. Dirk Nowitzki still in this game? I mean, you know, here's one of the top scorers in the league, and it seems like the Mavericks go a long time and it doesn't go his way.
Well, the good thing about Dirk is he's very explosive in a short period of time. We just took a look back at Jason Terry's carry way underneath the ball. We're going to get a 3-second call against Yao, so turnover.
Turnover is fair play.
But it's up to Jason Terry to recognize who he's playing with. Now, that was one of the great things about Steve Nash. Dirk Nowitzki did not go long stretches without touch.
Darrell Armstrong at the point this trip. Wesley guards him. Armstrong leaves it for Dampier. Eric Dampier connecting on the open shot. That's 6 points for Dampier, and Jeff Van Gundy wants a timeout.
I let him have all those. I'm with Dampier and Sean Bradley taking all the shots, keeping Stackhouse out of it, keeping Nowitzki out of it, and winning the game.
The offseason for the Mavericks, after they had lost Steve Nash and Jason Terry, he's got his supporters here at the American Airlines Center. After Nash went to Phoenix, the Mavericks knew they had to upgrade their guard position. Grady against Finley. Wesley. No foul. Sura with 2 to shoot, got rid of it. And Juwan Howard an offensive rebound.
Well, that was a huge save for them, and McGrady launches a 3.
How about that? They get 3 out of it, as it turns out, and the Houston Rockets, by the way, are dead last in offensive rebounding in the league. They're at 30.
Well, they've done a better job tonight. You would think that they were in the top 15 the way that they've been chasing the ball down, but they've needed every extra possession they can get.
And Wesley gives him another possession. David Wesley with the steal and the score. This has been as good a game probably as he's played since coming over to the Rockets. Armstrong, Terry trying to drop it into Dampier, and the Rockets have another steal, and now Houston with a chance in the lead. Sura trapped in the corner. The inside pass knocked loose, and the Mavericks come back off the Houston turnover. It's Finley. Armstrong on the miss. And the Rockets another rebound with a chance at the lead.
Both teams in transition with some poor decisions. The Rockets turn it over to McGrady, and they're going to go back to Yao inside to go on top.
Pretty good decision there. Yao Ming.
But you don't give Darrell Armstrong a shot over Yao Ming and think it's going in.
Terry fouled by Yao on his way to the hoop. Yao has his second foul. And Jason Terry to the line to shoot 2.
You heard the voice of Don Nelson? You know what he was saying? Shoot the shots when you have them. Don't make them up.
Hey,
if you overpass.
Let me ask you this. Wouldn't most NBA players love to hear that from their coach? Shoot the ball when you've got one. And to really, you know, let you out there almost a free rein to go ahead and launch. And then the coach lives with it.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's the only way you can have rhythm in your offense. If you pass up an open opportunity, watch out.
That's pretty open opportunity right there. Sura to McGrady, who comes back limping. But McGrady has scored 5 points lately, and the Rockets are back on top. Finley, cleared by Sura.
That's Finley's shot. Finley just has not taken enough offensive crack.
Sura ran into Dampier.
Trying to come back to Yao on the move.
Howard driving past Nowitzki. Dampier the rebound.
You know what he was saying? I'm lobbing that over to Yao.
There's a touch for Nowitzki. had the smaller guy on him, and Dirk Nowitzki missing it badly. Wesley at the other end, and the Rockets go up by 3 after trailing by as many as 9. Time for the GMC game track.
Well, McGrady has come alive here since reinserted into the ball game. Dirk Nowitzki got off to a sensational start, but has been quiet since that first quarter of play. And look at the bench. The Houston Rockets being dominated by the Dallas Mavericks, but somehow it's all come together here in the first 6 minutes of the third, and the Rockets are in the lead.
Well, that Mavericks total is all from Stackhouse and Bradley.
Well, the good thing, like I said,
they have 25 points between them.
They came out with the idea of making Yao guard Dampier, so they started running offense for him. They took Dirk Nowitzki out of the offense, and they slowed down Terry.
On a 3, Jason Terry. Mavericks pull even halfway through the third.
Somebody needs to tell the guys in white that Dirk had 16, 11 in the first quarter. McGrady.
Tracy McGrady starting to heat up. 7 points in the quarter, 14 in the game for McGrady.
See, right now, a lot of dribbling by the Mavericks, not much passing. That makes it much easier to control them. And then you just get one shot, and if you miss it, the Rockets control the pace of the game.
Now the Rockets looking to extend on the lead. And another perimeter jumper going down. That one for 3 for McGrady.
My toe is really good now. 10 in the quarter for McGrady.
A 5-point Houston lead. The Rockets have led by as many as 6. That was in the first half.
Whatever was in those insoles, they got to keep it.
Stackhouse delivers for the Mavericks. Stackhouse finding the range for his first 2 in the second half. He's got 17 in the game. Yao working on Dampier. Yao Ming.
Now,
17 points for Yao.
And we have talked about how well the Mavericks have played, but they were being outshot at the break by the Rockets and are being outshot here in the third quarter.
Stackhouse on the miss. Nobody claims the rebound, and Sura with a pickup. Wesley being picked up by Nowitzki in the switch. Juwan Howard against Stackhouse.
Well, this ought to be a shot for Juwan Howard. Muscles his way inside, and it won't stay.
Dampier clears for Dallas. Stackhouse open, had a notion, pulls it back for Terry.
Again, Terry is lighting things up, but Dirk Nowitzki is not getting his hands on the ball at all.
Dirk Nowitzki going through a 1-for-8 shooting stretch. Even when he does touch, he's not shooting it well as he did starting out the game. And off the ball, a foul called. It'll be on Stackhouse guarding McGrady. That's the first foul on Jerry Stackhouse.
This has been a very quick quarter and a very aggressive one for Yao, and he's taking a breather at the offensive end, and Jeff Van Gundy takes note of that and sends in Dikembe Mutombo.
So Yao with a 17-point game working. Heads for the bench. Just 3 rebounds for him tonight. McGrady against Finley. Nowitzki has it. The Mavericks down by 3. Nowitzki rolls in on Howard. So the long drought ends, and Nowitzki has his first 2 points in the second half. 18 in the game.
And one of the ways to get yourself going is to get to the rim, and that's what Nowitzki can do for a guy his size. Great mobility. Back to McGrady.
Wesley, 4-3. Wesley hitting again.
9 in the quarter for Wesley. 15 in the game.
And that equals his high with the Rockets since coming over. 16 to shoot. Stackhouse. Finley's pass tipped away. Nowitzki has it with 8 on the shot clock. Dirk into the lane and a blocking foul on Mutombo. Two fouls on Mutombo. So Dirk Nowitzki to the free throw line. He shot 2 and made them both in the first half.
Dirk Nowitzki is starting to make it up on his way. And one thing he knows, if I put the ball on the floor against Juwan Howard, I'm going to have a chance to get to the rim. And he picked up the foul against Mutombo.
Dirk has another. Tune in Friday night starting at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN2 with a Kia NBA shoot-around. Then at 8 o'clock Eastern, the Mavericks and the Spurs from San Antonio. At 10:30, the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. That game also available in high definition, ESPN HD. John Nowitzki with a free throw split. 2:50 left in the third. McGrady right there to Mutombo underneath. Mutombo lost it going up, but Howard ends up with it.
You know, with Mutombo, he's got to gather. He's got to get himself so he can power up, and he lost his advantage, and now they're fighting the clock.
One to shoot for McGrady. He didn't get it away in time. A shot clock violation. The Mavericks have it. They're down by 3. You know, the thing about that, where you talked about Mutombo and how he's got to gather himself, and with Yao Ming, that's two guys that, you know, I guess the expression that comes to mind is they sort of paint by numbers, you know, when they're out there. It's like they have to, you know, collect their feet, get their feet set, and then they have to, you know, get their bodies in the right position to attempt the shot. With 9 on the shot clock.
The paint by numbers goes when you're long and tall. Something is missing in the coordination, and so they got to gather. And McGrady was barking at Mutombo on the way down to him. Look, it doesn't take that long. When you caught it, you were wide open, and when you lost it, there were 3 guys around you.
Both teams making some changes. The Mavericks have Devin Harris in. You see John Barry coming in for Houston. Sura goes out. Harris came in to replace Jason Terry.
So Michael Finley has 3 points in this ballgame. He's not scored here in the third. Devin Harris said, you know what? I may not be around long, so I better get something on.
And Finley averages 18.5 points a game. So an off night for Finley. But on the other hand, Stackhouse has been outstanding, and so has Juwan Howard. Howard has been shooting it well the entire game. 15 points for Howard.
And we look at the scoreboard, 84 now. Early in the season, 84 was a good number for a Houston Rockets win.
Stackhouse has it blocked.
They're coming off 116, so this is a team that's trying to energize their offense and get more people involved and score early, score quick, score easy.
And their second half against the Lakers in the game before the Denver game, they also performed well. So
yeah, they just forgot they had to play that way for the whole game.
Yeah, they scored just 13 in the first quarter that night, which was a Laker defensive best this year. How about Wesley? He's got it stuck on automatic. Another 3 for David Wesley.
12. Now, I guess they should find him. He's been in the same spot the entire third quarter, dropping bombs, and the Rockets just unloading on the Dallas Mavericks.
Finley on the miss. Houston coming back with its biggest lead.
Look at David Finley. We go right to the same spot.
And Juwan Howard hits another one. Howard's got 17. 20 is his season high this year.
6 in this quarter, 10 in the quarter for McGrady, 12 in the quarter for David Wesley.
And a 10-point lead for the Houston Rockets, who were down by 4 at the half and trailed by 9 in the first half. 9 to shoot for Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki puts his autograph on the game. And the Mavericks needed that hit.
And they're 8 points down as the Rockets think about closing with a big hit here at the end of the third quarter.
So they go to their hottest guy, their hottest gunslinger, and Juwan Howard delivers. 19 for Howard. Going to the hoop is Harris. It's blocked by McGrady, and goaltending. Devin Harris has his first 2 points tonight.
Well, you always talked about Tracy McGrady as being a quiet leader, lead by example. He's been very vocal tonight, yelling and screaming to all of his teammates, "You got to get back," as they will work for the final shot of the third. McGrady against the young Devin Harris.
Less than a second difference. The shot clock at 10. McGrady around a pick by Dikembe, and it's a 3 for Tracy McGrady.
Who wants some of this? 13 in the quarter for McGrady.
Stackhouse fouled in the act of shooting with 1.1 left. Yao Ming and the Rockets looking real good here late in the third as Nowitzki goes out for the Mavericks.
But his point is well taken in that it's very difficult to get a foul on a jump shooter as the clock is winding down. And Barry has done a lot of that throughout his career and asked, why aren't I going to the line? And Stackhouse gets 2.
Stackhouse has lived well at the line. McGrady's shot comes too late, but it was close. So McGrady and the Rockets shooting it extremely well in the third, 70%.
The Rockets are the better team when they're leading after 3, and the Dallas is in 4 straight, 1-9, and they have to get Dirk Nowitzki reignited.
Well, they'll try Nowitzki to start the fourth, and it's a rounding down for Dirk. And the Mavericks they have cut that lead down to 6.
Now they come out with some pressure, and John Barry immediately calls for a 20-second timeout.
And so let's check in with Mark Jones.
Yeah, guys, during that last timeout at the end of the third quarter, Don Nelson imploring his team offensively, saying, guys, we got to get into the paint a little more and make the short pass. Assistant coach Avery Johnson telling his team, we have to run like we did in the first quarter. Defensively, they're still trying to figure out ways how to stop that pick and roll involving Tracy McGrady and who's going to rotate up to Juwan Howard. That has been a huge problem for the Mavs, guys.
There you see Avery Johnson, who is the coach in waiting for the Mavericks. Nelly's got another year left on his contract. He told us today, Snapper, he plans on fulfilling that. And then the plan is to move Avery into that head seat.
Well, the best way to solve the problem is for the guys to guard their own men. You got to stay with Tracy McGrady. You got to stay with Juwan Howard. The league has gotten so involved with help defense that it helps the offense. And when a guy gets the stick going like Juwan Howard had it in that third quarter, then he's going to make that shot. He's looking to get that ball and take that shot every time it's available. So you got to fight through the screen. They're coming back with the screen now.
And it's McGrady shooting from deep, a deep 2 attempt. And the Mavericks now can cut it to 4. Stackhouse fouled on the perimeter by Howard. First foul on Juwan Howard. First team foul on Houston.
He said, Juwan, you know better.
On Houston.
He said, Juwan, you know better. You're too far away from the hoop to be fooling around with me. Stackhouse can get by just about anybody with enough area to work with, and Juwan Howard has a tough job right now trying to deal with that quick first step.
Finley for 3. Juwan Howard collects the rebound. Michael Finley with a 1 for 9 working. Dirk Nowitzki called for the foul on the perimeter on the McGrady drive, and Dirk has 4 fouls. That's the first team foul on the Mavericks here in the fourth.
Well, the good thing for Dirk Nowitzki is rarely do NBA players really know how many fouls their opponent has. Dirk will be able to stay out on the floor because they won't attack him.
McGrady. John Barry looks in, comes out to Wesley on a 3.
Wrong spot.
And the ball out of bounds to Dallas.
Wesley has made all of his threes in the corner, and I think he wanted to find out just how hot he was tonight. Moved to straight away and missed out.
David Wesley with his best game so far as a Rocket. 18 points. His season high is 23. Terry off the drive. Finds Harris right at the cup. Devin Harris with 4, and the Mavericks have closed to within 4.
You see that there's a quickness advantage. Jason Terry blew right by David Wesley. Had no problem getting into the lane. John
Barry connecting. John Barry has his first points tonight. Just about 2 minutes having been played in this fourth quarter. The Rockets up by 6. Wesley had it turned away, out of bounds. And it stays at that end. The Mavericks will come in with 10 on the shot clock.
That time Jason Terry helped out. He tried to be a little bit too clever, slowed down, went behind his back, and David Wesley got the block.
Stackhouse to make the inbounds pass. Finally triggers to Finley. Finley against Bowen, a taller defender, and Barry with the Houston rebound. And the ball knocked out of bounds by Dallas. Tomorrow at ESPN, college basketball doubleheader. First at 7, it's Duke at North Carolina State at 7 o'clock Eastern. Then on ESPN2, the second game, Marquette at Memphis. Oh, what a jam by McGrady. Tracy McGrady. Tomahawk jam, and the Rockets have an 8-point lead.
The Mavericks are talking to one another right now. Dirk Nowitzki knows he cannot help out. McGrady just came right down the lane, and nobody stepped over, so we have liftoff, Houston.
And Houston, you have a problem. The basket is good for Stackhouse and a foul. Watch this dunk by McGrady.
Stackhouse directs him right to the lane. There is no help whatsoever. Dirk is saying, I can't come in there. Not only do you got to get hurt, you get another foul.
That foul was on Juwan Howard, his second.
That's not a good matchup for Juwan Howard.
No.
And if you're Don Nelson, who likes to take advantage of matchups, you got to put the ball in Stackhouse's hand and then have him either make the play at the basket or find Dirk Nowitzki.
The three-point play by Stackhouse, and the Mavericks are within 5 with 9:20 left. McGrady fires for 3. It's in. Tracy McGrady really cooking in the second half for the Rockets.
You better walk home in those shoes.
Stackhouse. Back and forth they come. These two teams, we said coming on, it's like the shootout at the OK Corral this year when the Rockets played the Mavericks, and that's what we've had in this one.
Last time in, it was McGrady and Dirk Nowitzki putting on a special individual performance. Juwan Howard, nice save.
21 points for Howard, a new season high.
But tonight it has been balanced by the Rockets and a big bench support from Stackhouse for the Mavericks to make it a game.
Stackhouse operating on the perimeter against Howard. Takes the outside shot again.
Now that's the easy way out, and if you're Juwan Howard, you got to hope Stackhouse is feeling a little bit tired right now.
McGrady tries another 3. Yep. Nothing but threes for Tracy McGrady of late. And the Houston Rockets have opened up an 11-point lead. It equals the largest, and Don Nelson wants a timeout. 28-point game working for Tracy. Them into an 11-point lead.
McGrady knows that he is on fire, and he can't believe that nobody is going to guard him now. You're not going to guard? You must be crazy. You must be out of your mind.
T-Mac, you can see what he's done against the Mavericks this year, and in the game that we had the ESPN radio game tonight, he scored 13 points in 33 seconds, and that was against San Antonio. So the Texas teams for sure know about Tracy McGrady.
John Bradley back in the game, and Yao Ming as well.
I'll give you that 3.
And he should.
Yeah, I'll give you that. 8 to shoot. Finley covered up by Wesley, goes back to Stackhouse. John Barry with the Rockets rebound.
Ball movement, player movement has been missing from the Mavericks attack. Juwan Howard again.
Oh, man, has he missed a shot tonight? Juwan with 23 points in the game.
Well, he's missed 3.
Stackhouse has been the offensive answer for the most part for the Mavericks, and especially so in the second half.
7 in a quarter for Jerry Stackhouse to keep the game close. I mean, the Mavericks are not out of this, but they've got to get better balance. They can't let that happen. Howard again.
Juwan Howard with 25. Stackhouse has scored 26 for the Mavericks. 28 is his season high. Michael Finley, who has struggled the entire game, comes back to Terry. Terry shot blocked and cleared by Yao. Yao chased down the ball.
Just get out of here. High pick and roll, McGrady.
Oh, man. Tracy McGrady and the Houston Rockets are having fun tonight in Dallas.
Ben Gordon was 6 of 6 in his big night of 31. McGrady on the way to a big number himself has not missed a shot here in the fourth quarter.
He's got 30 in the game and 23 in the second half, and a blocking foul called on Juwan Howard. 3 fouls on Howard.
Pretty good defense by Juwan Howard that time. Looked like Nowitzki got him right in the middle of his chest.
That's 3 team fouls. If you're wondering, the Rockets' season high is 116 points tonight, so they'll better that and then some. Here's a look at the foul called on Howard.
Howard couldn't believe it. Howard has done everything so well here in the first. Didn't play in the second quarter. Second and in the third and fourth quarter, he has been electric.
The next field goal made by Houston will be the most points given up by Dallas in a game. Sean Bradley, who couldn't miss in the first half, now fouls Wesley. Bradley has his second foul. The Mavericks with the second team foul.
You know, when you're a jump shooting team and you lose that rhythm and you lose that passing, remember in the first half how the Rockets defense was reacting. They were always chasing the ball, so the Mavericks had plenty of time to set to get wide open opportunities. A rare miss from Juwan Howard.
Yeah, he had Bradley to shoot over. Here come the Mavericks in transition. Nowitzki off the pull-up. Wow, Dirk Nowitzki.
5:51 to go in the fourth quarter play. Tracy McGrady certainly blossoming into one of the elite players in the league. He started his basketball journey at Mount Zion Christian Academy in North Carolina. That was then a prodigious star and a star to be, and man, has his career really taken off. Drafted by the Raptors, then to Orlando, and now with the Houston Rockets, a two-time scoring champ. He's exploded for 23 points in the second half, quieting the sellout crowd here at American Airlines Center. And guys, just think back to when he was in Toronto. There were actually whispers at the time that he did not have the work ethic to become a star in this league. Boy, were they a little bit wrong. Back to you guys.
Well, you know, I think part of that, though, is that he's kind of has that relaxed demeanor about how he plays. And then all of a sudden, you've got major explosions on your hands.
You know, you can't let the way that McGrady approaches the game, which is easy going, to really kind of belie his competitiveness. Now, the Mavericks are still dangerous, so the Rockets have got to continue to do a good job defensively. They've got to make these guys struggle.
Foul called on McGrady. Tracy McGrady has his first, and that's the fourth team foul, but Finley was fouled in the act of shooting. He's a good free throw shooter, 91%. Finley with just 3 points scored tonight, averages 18.5. I'll tell you what, Snapper, if I'm Lawrence Frank and the Nets, who will be playing the Rockets tomorrow night in Houston, I don't think I want to take a look at the video of this game.
Well, no, you better go out and buy some offense. That's what you better do. You better get Carter going, Kidd going. They have no Richard Jefferson, so they got to manufacture some points, as it has become a different approach by the Houston Rockets. Finley, a pair of free throws.
Houston with 112 points on the board. 116 is their season high. The Mavericks have not given up more than 113 in any game this year. McGrady again dances his way in the lane. Lost the handle, though. The Mavericks the steal. Stackhouse, it's a deep two if it drops, and it's McGrady who's way up for the rebound. A win tonight by the Rockets puts them back over the 500 mark.
Well, the Rockets want to use some clock, but they don't want to lose their offensive momentum, so they got to be aggressive, pass the ball against this zone that they're looking at, take the open shot. Juwan Howard.
Oh, man. Juwan Howard with 27.
8 in the quarter, and he continues his magic in this ballgame.
Juwan Howard, who played for the Mavericks a few years ago, 13 out of 17. Bradley open. He was hitting that shot in the first half. 4.5 minutes left. Wesley on a three.
Good hustle by John Barry. Got him the open shot. Wesley missed. He's cooled off. So it looks like you'll finish the game with Tracy McGrady and Juwan Howard, pick and roll, Yao Ming.
McGrady drags the double team out near the timeline. 7 on the shot clock. McGrady bumps into Nowitzki. The pass across the court stolen by Bradley. Ahead to Stackhouse. Leaves it for Nowitzki.
7 in the quarter for Nowitzki, 28 in the game. Those are the kinds of mistakes that the Van Gundy and his coaching staff don't want to see happen at the offensive end. Get a shot.
Barry looking for Yao, uses the Howard pick. McGrady against Finley. Barry on a three. And it's out of bounds to Dallas.
Against a very dangerous Dallas team, what you don't want to do is become tentative. They have been so aggressive offensively. When they have had the shot, they've taken it. Now they're starting to think. Game situation. Forget that game. Let it go.
John Barry defending against Jason Terry. Nowitzki has it. Terry off penetration. Over Yao. Nowitzki. And Bradley stays with it. It was Bradley on the follow, and Bradley has 12. His first 2 points of the second half.
9-point game.
And a little over 3 minutes left.
And we haven't seen Van Gundy this far out at half court since the half started, so he's concerned. You got to keep making shots.
And Wesley does. David Wesley.
116.
That equals the season high for the Rockets.
Look at Van Gundy. He's nervous.
I'll tell you what, this is definitely one night when his team has played with his kind of energy.
Yeah, he's been hyper.
Howard. It's a block, apparently, by Stackhouse. Terry for 3. And
big hustle by
out
John
of
Barry
bounds to
that
Houston.
time, and he gets a call.
And a timeout taken here at the American Airlines Center. The sellout crowd beginning to head for home.
About will they be competitive as we go past the All-Star break? They were 500. This was a tough stretch for them. They win tonight. That will be winning 3 out of 5, and in the last 2 ball games posting at least 116. Yeah, right at the bucket.
And he's fouled by Bradley. That's 4 fouls on Bradley. Yao to the free throw line, where in the first half he was 9 for 10.
And you know, Jeff Van Gundy has been a proponent of defense, starting with New York. That has been his calling card. And someone got a cattle prod.
In the season series recently, the Mavericks have dominated. And this year, you can see the Mavericks dominating in points scored. But tonight, just the other way around. Dallas has won 9 of the last 10 head-to-head. And 13 of the last 16, but the Rockets are pretty much in command right now. Stackhouse, Bradley, Stackhouse on a follow. And Howard rips down the rebound. The Rockets content to use some clock each possession.
Look at the Rocket bench. This tells you how important this game is to them. They are all up. They're looking, counting time as McGrady holds with an 11-point advantage. High pick and roll.
This victory would put Houston over the 500 mark again. Yao right at the rim for the dunk and foul. He'll have a chance at a 3-point play.
Yao said, let me hold something. Let me hold something. Nice drop inside by Juwan Howard. And these are the kinds of plays they like to give Yao. And he's happy with that effort, and the crowd is headed for the doors.
20,365 on hand tonight at the American Airlines Center.
And Yao joins McGrady and Howard with 20.
Finley banks in a 3. It's been that kind of shooting night for Michael Finley. .113 left, and a foul stops the clock. Coming up when we're finished here in Dallas Sports Center, highlights, news, and all the latest in the sporting world. Scott Van Pelt, Susie Colbert, Streaking Suns, College Hoops 101, and NFL playoff report. How about the Utah Jazz with the 2 notches they put on their belt the last 2 times out?
Well, you know, they've had some close losses in that 9-game losing streak, and they finally got a couple of wins, and we'll find out whether that propels them, because they had a terrific start. Once Karolinko went down, that seemed to just suck the air out of the team and its confidence and energy, and so they may be finding their way back after a tough stretch.
119 points on the board, make it 120.
Say it again.
120 for the Houston Rockets, who came in averaging 91.6. Yao with the rebound. 1 minute left.
Howard said there's still some more points to be had. If you just look, I'm open. Calvin Booth in the game.
For the Mavericks, Tracy McGrady with 52 seconds left. Tracy shoots for three. Why not? Finley the rebound. Finley pulls up and hits a three. Finley is in two in a row.
Crowd that left is asking Mike where you've been all night. 120-111. As Barry wants to use all the clock on this possession.
They've got 13 to shoot.
Barry will take a foul now. I shoot free throws pretty good.
Howard again.
Why not?
So Ron Howard with 29. 10 in the fourth. T-Mac with 30. Wesley with 21. Yao with 20. And Michael Finley sticks his third three. It's just too little too late for the Mavericks. And we've had a foul called. Sports Center coming up next after a little over 16 seconds come off the clock. There are some of the stories they're working on for Sports Center tonight.
As with the Laker-Rocket game that you did, the Mavs game tonight, it was not two complete halves. They played a good first half and then broke down in the second. Out in Los Angeles, it was a sensational first half. Rockets fought back, but that was it. McGrady finally will call it a night.
Reece Gaines comes in to replace him. Bowen is back in to cross midcourt. So the Houston Rockets come to the American Airlines Center and stun the Dallas Mavericks. And Jeff Van Gundy has to be a happy man with what he saw tonight. Tracy McGrady leading the way with 30. Houston shot 61% in winning by 10. Coming up next, Sports Center.
To Utah, coming off that win over San Antonio. Amari Stoudemire, no stopping him. 19 points, 8 boards, a top play nominee. Jazz up 8 on the break. Raja Bell. Jazz extending their lead to 10. Bell with 19 points off the bench. Now to the fourth, Stoudemire. Stripped by Howard Isley. Isley hitting Kirk Snyder. Now, Snyder had 4 points, but the Jazz had 6 players in double figures in this one. Jazz up 10. Jazz showing some hustle as well. Snyder's foul, no, but Mehmet Okur, yes. 21 points, 17 boards for Okur. The Jazz bench outscored the Suns bench 67-6 in the victory.
Magic Timberwolves. You might have heard Steve Francis very disappointed in his pal Cuttino Mobley getting traded to the Kings. Said, I can't put it into words. Him not being here is going to be tough for me. I don't know what I'm going to wake up for. I don't know. How about get to play a sport and earn millions and millions of dollars?
Nice.
Francis. What's Francis' mind on here? He and Grant Hill collide. Anthony Carter would score down at the other end. We're tied at 18. Francis would struggle. He missed 17 field goals in the game. Kevin Garnett tips in the miss by Michael Olowokandi. KG finished with an NBA season-high 25 rebounds in the fourth. Magic up 6. Francis did have 17 points and 7 assists. They win. Timberwolves just 5-10 against the East.
On ESPN Wednesday, Rockets, Mavericks. Tracy McGrady coming in, averaging just over 28 points a game in his last 18. Late in the first half, though, T-Mac getting his sprained left toe looked at. Only 7 points at the half for T-Mac, so it was bothering him. T-Mac, though, nice play. In obvious pain, though, despite that. Later on in the third, T-Mac scored most of his points from outside. He had 30 points in this game, 12 and 19 from the field, and then from long distance. Tracy McGrady with a three-pointer. T-Mac then take it right down the lane and just get out of his way. Take another look. Like, that is beautiful. That's a poster. Later, 3 more for Tracy McGrady. They had it going on. They had 5 players in double figures, did the Rockets. He was feeling it. One of 6 threes in the game for T-Mac, and take a look at T-Mac's expression. You know, a player knows when they got it going on. And T-Mac had just that against the stunned Mavericks. The final, 124-114, despite 28 by Dirk Nowitzki.